Mountains. Will GTA 6 have mountains? Yes, it actually will. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how we know it's going to have mountains, despite it actually being in Vice City in Florida, as well as we're going to take a look at the leaked map that people created from those leaked videos last year, and how it might be a bit different than what we're sort of used to in GTA games. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop in. Now, GTA 5's map, the map we've all known for the last 10 years, it has a decent amount of mountains. It has so many mountains, in fact, it's almost a complaint. When you take a look at the map from above, you can see so much of this map is just lifeless because they're mountains. There's not really much that goes on in there. So despite the map being bigger, it really never feels that way because you rarely ever spend time in those mountains. But they were a pretty important part of GTA 5. I mean, the Mount Chiliad mystery obviously had to do with Mount Chiliad. The mountains themselves did space out the map, and it sort of sectioned off the areas. It sectioned off the city from, Sandy Shores, and then also from Paleto Bay to sort of make these cities feel like they were a little bit further away. And they did provide some pretty cool opportunities to, at least in single player, you could do some hunting and stuff. So I personally would say that mountains in a GTA game are pretty good. Obviously, comparing that though to GTA 4 is a city. It had 0 mountains. And when people were playing that, did they ever think, I wish there were mountains in this game? Probably not. So it also isn't like mountains are necessary for a GTA title. But GTA 6 is going to have mountains. And how do we know this? We know this from those leaked videos. Now, like I've always said, I can't show the actual leaked footage. So what I've done here is very poorly, but it gives you an idea, is I made the footage into an AI picture, basically. And I went through all the 90 videos to see which ones showed the mountains or the hills in the background, and those are the ones that I actually made into an AI picture. There's only 4 of them. There's actually not a lot of clips in the leaked footage that showed mountains. And as you're gonna see, it's like, we say mountains, but it's probably more of just bigger hills. You're not going to be seeing a Mount Chiliad sized mountain in this game, but we'll start with this one. This is the smaller of the 4. On the right hand side though, you can see obviously there'd be like a road. This was the gas station clip when they were looking at a bunch of stuff. You could also see the inventory. The AI does not know how to read letters apparently, so that's why it looks weird. But the landscape is what we're taking a look at. You have a nice, decently sized hill there. Nothing crazy, again, but in case anyone was thinking that Vice City, this GTA 6 game, was going to be completely flat, this proves it's not. And again, this also was in like the alpha stages of development, so they might have even changed some stuff, made it hillier or more mountainous or just better terrain or something like that. This was the first clip though. This one just shows that it's not all flatness. There is going to be some hills. This is a smaller scale one, but you are still going to have some of that in the game. Probably more towards the north of the map. And one thing I did just want to point out before we get any further, there's this thing in Florida called Mount Trashmore. It's actually a landfill, completely man-made, that is 225 feet high. And this is what it looks like. So some of the hills in GTA 6 might just be landfills. I mean, it'll still work as a hill, but I'm sure Rockstar is going to take this and put it in the game. That's like the perfect thing to put in a GTA game. But in Florida, apparently this is like the extent of their hills. It's man-made landfills. Now back to the leaked footage. So here's another clip. This is from the Hank's Diner clip. And if you're internet savvy enough, you could probably find this and take a look at it yourself and not the AI pictures. But in the background, you can see there is a small little hill at some point in this Hank's Diner clip. Now this one is another little small hill, like the first one we saw. It's not anything crazy. Doesn't really look like there's too much to it, honestly. I do believe this is looking more southward. So in the northern part of the map, there's going to be these, smaller hills scattered about, it looks like. But the big part, the big hills, the big mountains, if you want to call them that, is actually when the camera looks in the other direction. So still in the Hank's Diner clip, but we can actually see now in the background. And again, I just want to point out, it's not 100%. I tried to make these AI pictures like close to what they looked like in the footage. It's not 100%, but I would say it's like 95%. That is a pretty big hill. It's not Mount Chiliad size. It's not something that's going to take you forever to climb up. And it's very flat, very smooth, not very rocky or anything, but it is fairly large. I mean, that looks to be, you know, maybe 500 meters from where the road is. And this is really the big point that indicates GTA 6 is going to have these mountainous areas. Here is another angle, and we can actually see in the distance, it's not just that one hill. There's also, you can see it's a little bit more faint because it's further away, but there's more than one of these bigger hills. So the northern part of the map, sort of north of this Hank's Diner area, you're going to get some pretty hilly areas. Now, again, it's not going to be like Mount Chiliad. It's not going to be like the mountains we had in GTA 5 because this is a different part of the country. This is maybe what they're going to look like. These are the hills or the mountains in Georgia, which is, of course, the state right above Florida. Some of these are still pretty big mountains like IRL. It's just they're not very rocky. They're not very sharp. They're very smoothed over because they're much older mountains. So these are the type of mountains we're probably going to end up seeing a lot in GTA 6. And if we actually take a look at the map that people created from the leaked videos, it's not 100%, especially the outline is just sort of estimated, but the top left here, you can see that's where we have Hank's Waffle Diner. And I guess they called it Sugarloaf Mountain. I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's sort of where the hill is. And you can see there's also that other smaller hill, the Hank Hill, I guess they're calling it. South of Hank's Diner. But this mountain, the mountains we saw in those last two pictures, basically at the top of the map. We don't know if there's anything past them. So some people are speculating that maybe these are just like land borders. I would hope that's not the case because I feel like in a GTA game, that'd be kind of lame if there were land borders and not just like an island like all the other games are. But that is what we know so far about mountains in this game. Now, of course, mountains in other games like RDR2, I mean, they're amazing, right? It's incredible. But I wanted to actually bring up RDR2 here because one of the best parts about this game is the fact that this map isn't specified on one particular area of like an IRL location. It takes New Orleans. It takes the plains, like, I don't know, remember like Missouri or something. It takes up in like Montana and Wyoming, those type of mountains. It takes all of these locations across the US and it condenses it into one solid map. And I think that's what we're going to end up getting for this GTA 6 game. Everyone's assuming it's literally just going to be Vice City and the area right next to it. But given the fact that we've seen these mountains now, there are no mountains in Florida. The closest mountains are in Georgia. I think that's what Rockstar's doing here. They're also not just using Florida as like a sole research point. They're using these other states that have these other features that would be nice in a GTA game. So it wouldn't surprise me if the northern parts of this map, you know, obviously parts above Vice City, like the actual city part, you're going to be seeing some different features from other states in the general area, you know, around Florida, maybe Alabama, Georgia, maybe they go up to Tennessee, something like that, because there's a lot of interesting, unique features they could steal from those states and put it in the northern parts of this Vice City map. And actually, one final thing I did want to mention, and I did mention it a couple of days ago when I talked about the Cuba in GTA 6 leak. That's another way they could add mountains. There are so many cool mountainous little islands out in the Caribbean. And these mountains are, I think, a little bit more like the ones we got to see in GTA 5's Los Santos. So Rockstar really can have all kinds of different terrain in a Vice City, in a GTA 6 map. They could have some of the more flatter, hillier mountains in the north based on the Georgia and sort of Tennessee mountains. Then if they did want to go crazy with it, they could take some of the islands in the Caribbean and make their own islands and make some of those islands very mountainous and very rocky to give people that. So I think this game is going to be pretty awesome. I mean, I think Rockstar's thought about all this stuff. I don't expect the game to be completely flat the entire map. That would just be so boring. And Rockstar know that. So having mountains, having these hills, and having different terrain is coming to Vice City, is coming to GTA 6, and I can't wait to see officially, you know, how it all looks when it's all said and done. But that's going to do it for today's GTA 6 video. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know your thoughts on mountains in GTA 6 in the comment section below. But if you guys enjoyed, please drop the video a like, subscribe for more GTA content, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.